I like how the chicken has the same livery as the McLaren.
Mm.
Oh
Hi everyone, welcome
Hi.
to Three Men, One Hunt. Yeah,
I'm
Three Men, One
literally
Hunt.
just scared for this.
Welcome to our
Kieran
first
did it.
video. It's Three Men, One Hunt. It's not what it sounds like.
Hello and welcome to our very first ever video from Three Men and One Hun. I'm Kieran.
I Hunt.
Oh yeah,
Chicken.
are we actually recording for real?
Oh, for Christ's sake.
You didn't tell me.
Right. Can I just say,
Oh.
we have been recording for 18 minutes. My name is Formula Hun, also known as Naomi. I am joined by Kieran,
Hi.
James,
Hello.
and Rob.
Hi.
We're a friendly bunch if you can't tell.
For those of you who don't know us, we're a bunch of motorsport enthusiasts who talk about motorsport non-stop. And we'll be doing weekly videos here on our YouTube channel covering all sorts of different motorsport, from FE to Formula 1 to WRC. The list goes on. So today we're going to be talking about this weekend's motorsport that we've seen, including F1, F2 and MotoGP. First off, we're going to start with round one of F2, which included 2 sprint races and a feature race.
For the first time.
For the first time. I'm not too sure about the 2 sprint races because I didn't like the way that the grid got reversed. I understand why they did it, but it got a little bit confusing. So I was just a bit put off by it.
I can understand that. Well, my opinion is, I think the format worked quite well because if we don't have that third race, we are literally just going to have like 16 races instead of 24.
Yeah.
So, which is what the previous F2 seasons have had 24 races. I do think that we should have like the qualifying for race 1 and 3 be the same, and then race 2 be top 8 reversed. So we could have 2 feature races rather than a sprint race. So basically have a feature race, then a sprint race, and then have a feature race on the Sunday.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe that's just me.
Yeah, because it just got a little bit confusing, didn't it?
Yeah, but other than that, I quite
literally,
like the new format.
I'm all for it.
Yeah,
more racing.
Yeah, it's just the qualifying. I can understand why it can be a bit confusing, but I do like the fact that we have an extra race per weekend.
Yeah, I like the more racing. It's just that we qualified on Friday for a feature race on Sunday, and then they got split, and it was like
it's getting a bit artificial. In the sense that they're trying to create action where it happens anyway. It's like a problem that didn't need fixing, really. Ultimately, we wouldn't have had that amazing battle between Piastri, Lundgaard, and Joe in the second sprint race without this new format. And they get to race at night now, which is a really cool spectacle. But I get what you mean. Initially, it's quite confusing because you're thinking, "Oh, why isn't the grid the grid wrong for sprint 1?" When you've got to just adjust to this fact that we're going to have a feature race on Sunday. So
if you were new to F2, you wouldn't have understood that at all.
No, not at all.
No.
Alex Jakes did a really good job.
Yeah,
really good job as always. He just brings this extra level of excitement. He's like a Murray Walker. He just knows when to bring in the energy. And it was cool to see. Hear Billy Munger in the comms box.
Yeah, that was
this time
so
as well.
nice. His input,
especially after his comic relief thing as well.
Yeah,
recently.
but his input as a racer is really valuable because as much as Alex is fantastic, Billy knows as a driver, and he knows what it's like to be in that situation that those drivers are in, coming up the ranks as well, and how much pressure's on them to perform and how difficult those cars are. So yeah, it was really good to see that. Sprint race 1, Liam Lawson won.
He did.
Rookie win.
Right. Well, I haven't really followed F2 as much as I should, as much as you guys since about 2015. But when I watched it, when it was also GP2,
Turn his camera off now.
what? Liam Lawson won the first sprint race. I believe he's the first driver since F2 and GP2 since Stoffel Van Dorn in 2014 when he won on this Formula GP2 debut. And I think when it was Stoffel, there were 3 other drivers that had done it previously: Kovalainen, Charles Pic, and Alvaro Parent. So that's a nice fact in there.
Yeah, that is.
Nice.
Yeah, because I don't think they even mentioned that.
No,
Well,
they should get you in the comment
I
box.
knew
They
that.
probably
Yeah.
forgot.
Yeah, they probably did. They forgot. Daruvala and Beckman got P2 and P3.
Beckman's been a bit quiet, but it was good to see him get a podium finally. He's just sort of been a bit quiet in the shadows for the last couple of years in Formula 2, to be honest. It's easy to forget he's there. He just doesn't make a lot of noise compared to some other drivers.
Yeah.
But yeah, he finally got a podium. And Daruvala was due one anyway at some
Yeah.
point this season. He's a very talented guy.
Definitely.
It was like a Red Bull liveried one too, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Even though they weren't in the same team, they had both had the same livery because they're both Red Bull
Yeah,
junior
Red Bull
drivers.
aren't they? Yeah.
Piastri.
Piastri.
Pistorius.
Right, let me say it. Piastri. Right.
There you go.
No, Piastri.
Piastri.
Hang on, wait, I'm not ready.
Piastri.
No,
Not ready.
Piastri.
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 Piastri. Not Piastri, Piastri.
Piastri.
Oh,
Piastri.
Ashtray.
Piastri.
Sprint race 2. Piastri got P1.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
In his second ever F2 race. Not bad.
Very good. Very
Right.
good.
had an exceptional race. Absolutely
was
exceptional.
phenomenal.
Going against the experienced guys of Lundgaard and Joe right towards the end of the race.
Yeah, exactly.
Made
Done
that
himself
place.
proud there.
Yeah, Lundgaard got P2. Guani Joe got P3. Can say that. I think Joe did a fantastic job this week.
Yeah.
I mean, in the context of the championship, he got the points he needed.
Yeah,
I mean, he's top now, so says it all.
definitely.
He did enough, and that's what he's thinking about, really. I think he's not too bothered about... I mean, he was going for the win. We'll get to the feature race, but
Yeah.
he wasn't too bothered. He wasn't doing a Senna. He was doing a Prost, really, where he was quite happy to take the points. He wasn't too worried about taking too many risks.
He needs to be
That's how it
good
came
this
across.
year, though, because last year was a complete disaster for
Yeah.
him. He was favourite for the
Yeah.
title, and it wasn't his fault, most of it. There were problems, but he really needs a big year if he's hoping to get in F1 in 2022.
And
Hey, he's got a point to prove to Renault, hasn't he?
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
took Alonso over him, so he's got a point to prove now.
Yeah.
Well, he won the feature race.
In race 3.
Yeah. And
So that's a statement of intent.
exactly.
Yeah.
First feature race, he's won. Tictum, didn't he do something in the race too? What did
Dive bombed.
He
He
dive
dive
bombed.
bombed.
Yeah, he dive
Oh.
bombed. Yeah.
Yeah, race 1, he dive bombed, and who did he
Yeah.
take out? Bashore, was it?
Bashor, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
in
took out
race
Bashore.
1
And
and race 2, he vettled it on his own.
I remember Bashore posted a comment on the Instagram video of that incident saying, "You owe me a beer, Dan Tickton."
Oh,
He said, "Yeah, I think I owe you a few." Yeah.
Yeah, that was really
So
cute.
I think they're fine. It's just one of those
Yeah.
things. But yeah,
Yeah.
I think he redeemed himself because he actually had a really good feature race. Tickton.
Yeah, he did.
Fair play to
Yeah.
the guy.
But Lundgaard was the confusion. So Lundgaard got P2 and then it was taken away from him because he had a 10-second penalty. But the stewards did this when he did his pit stop because they didn't see it. And
No.
thankfully gave it him back. So he got P2 in the sprint race with Joe in P3. Feature race, Joe P1, Dan Ticktum got P2 and Liam Lawson got P3. Good result for Liam.
I'll tell you
Yeah.
what, I tell you what,
Solid.
He is not
Yeah.
bad for a rookie. Also, he's got a very busy year this year because he's not only is he competing in F2, he's also competing in the DTM this year as well, alongside Alex Albon.
Yeah, he is. He's got Albon as a teammate for DTM. That'll be interesting.
Yes, he has.
Wow.
So yeah, when the DTM season starts, we'll be talking about a lot about Lawson in that as well, I guess, if he does well or shit.
Who was driver of the weekend for everyone?
Mine's Lawson.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to win on your first race and also to get another podium on the same weekend, pretty good, I think.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, I know Zhou probably might be people's driver of the weekend, but I'm very impressed with what? Yeah, I think Lawson was my driver of the weekend.
Okay, Kieran.
I'd have to go for Zhou because got podium in the Sprint 2, made the most of his opportunities, and then he actually really nailed the feature race. He went for the alternate strategy and stayed with most of the pack on what was the hard tyre, and then pit a little bit later than his competition, but he had the softer tyre later and actually managed to work his way back through right to the lead. Piastri was a real contender for that race as well, though. If he had come through and got a podium in that feature race, he'd be my driver of the weekend. But given he made that mistake and ticked him, it's got to be Zhou for me.
Yeah, Bucko.
I would say Lawson, just rookie, first weekend in F2s, and he smashed it, didn't he? So
you have taste.
Can't look away from him, really.
No.
It's expected from Zhou this year, so.
Yeah.
I'm going to say Guani, Joe. I think he did fantastic this weekend. I think he just kept his cool after a really bad season last year. Come back, kicking, topping the championship. Can't get any better.
Well, let's hope he can keep it up then, and then hopefully we'll see him become the first Chinese F1 driver in history.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
That'd be amazing.
Not gonna lie, that would be amazing.
If this leads us into F1, I was talking about this, that if Zhou gets if he wins the championship or at least comes second, he'll have that opportunity with Alpine.
Yeah.
And this leads on to who goes then, because Alonso wants to do 2 seasons so that he sees the new regs at the very least. But Ocon is still a young driver, respectively.
He's younger than me.
Exactly. So he's still got a bright future, and it's not like he isn't quick. So it depends who outperforms. I would say if Ocon outperforms Alonso, they'll both stay. If Alonso outperforms Ocon, Ocon will go.
Yeah.
And then that will open the door for Zhou. But I expect Zhou will be hoping Alonso beats him on track this year.
That's not the only problem he's got to contend with, though. He's also got to think about Gasly.
Gasly. Because Gasly, I highly doubt will go to Red Bull. He's got to go somewhere, and I highly doubt he'll be out of F1 in 2022. So where can Gasly go?
Well, I can't see him staying at AlphaTauri for another year.
No.
So they'll want to promote either Lawson, Vips, or Deruvula. Or get Alex Albon back. So I can't see I cannot see Gasly staying where he is.
Moving on to F1.
Quite nicely, I think.
Yeah, that was a nice, smooth process into Formula 1.
Nice, smooth operator.
What a race.
I mean, it was all right by F1 standards.
I mean, the beginning was quite good. The middle got a bit boring, but the end was.
That was incredible.
It was everything that we needed this season, because I know we had the same top 3 on the podium, but if we hadn't have had Max v Lewis, we'd have all been here today going, "Oh God, again, really?"
Yeah.
We needed Red Bull to be as strong as they are at the end of the season at the beginning, and they look it. They really look it.
They definitely look strong, and it was unlucky what happened to Perez, because I reckon he would have been up there as well. I know he was starting further back on the grid anyway, but I reckon he could have made up places. I reckon he could have challenged Bottas for 3rd.
Yeah, definitely.
Easily.
Absolutely, he would have beaten him, I think. Yeah.
I remember
especially with Bottas' slow stop as well, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, the problem that Red Bull had is that Mercedes had 2 drivers and they had 1. They had no
basically.
backup. But I don't see that happening in the future if they don't have any electrical issues. I think
I hope not.
Perez is definitely strong enough to be helping Max. I know
Yeah.
that's what he's doing, isn't it? He's helping Max. Definitely.
Yeah.
He has the capability to beat Max on a few occasions this year, I think. He's got the pace to do it. Yeah. Because at some points he was quicker than Max on similar tyres, I think, because he was closing on the leaders. So I think he had the capacity to possibly win that race had he been near the front, to be honest. But he was had an uphill battle pretty much the whole way, with basically the whole grid to drive past.
Yeah. So for anyone who didn't watch, Lewis won. P2
again.
for Max. I know, it's shocking. We never see this. And P3 for Bottas. The start was a bit of a mess.
Well, let's just
Nothing
say,
happened, did it?
I can't remember. I think someone turned traction control off for the first time and went on a little adventure, spinning. Whee!
Well, even I can do a corner with traction control off. So.
Nikita Hazespin had his debut.
Yeah.
Can I tell you an interesting fact? It was actually the shortest F1 debut in 19 years. The previous just for interest, the last rookie to do that was actually 2 of them. It was Felipe Massa and Alan McNish in Australia 2002.
Alan McNish, yeah, I remember him. Yeah, good.
When they got caught up in that crash that Ralf Schumacher flew over Rubens Barrichello.
Yeah.
Nikita Mazepin has basically had the shortest F1 debut since then.
Well, he's already a record breaker.
Yeah. Well
He's done more formation laps than he has racing laps.
But enough about that. Let's give him a little bit of credit because we like to be fair here as much as we possibly can. Mick did go for a little spin, and that car looks horrendous.
It looks like Williams, to be honest.
No, it looks worse than that.
Copied Williams' 2019 car.
Possibly. But here's my theory with Haas, okay? So, obviously they've got a lot of funding having Mazepin in there, right? If Mazepin continues to race the way that he is, there's no way he's going to be in that car for 2022. And Haas have been very open about the fact they're not going to do anything more with the car. That is it. They're not going to do anything to that car. Possibly they're keeping all of that money for 2022 with all the regulations changes when they will have drivers in the car that can get results.
It makes sense. That's kind of, if anyone would do that, is Haas.
Yeah.
To put all their eggs in one basket
for
22.
Because I understand why they haven't done a lot to the car, because really there's not much point because of the massive changes, and they need that money for next year. To come in with all of that money and not develop anything better than they had last year doesn't make sense at all.
He's got a drive though. Ta-da!
Yeah.
That's what matters.
They just took last year's car and stuck a new floor on it to comply with the regs, didn't they, essentially?
I think that's what they've done. I painted it a bit.
Basically. Well, it is technically the same chassis as last year because they were supposed to have the new regs this year.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
They put glitter on a turd, basically.
Yeah.
Ferrari shocked me.
In good or bad way?
Good. They are much more consistent. That car does not look half as difficult to drive than it did last year. And I think Carlos and Leclerc was so strong at the beginning of the race. We didn't do too bad all the way through, but beginning, he was going for P3.
He was up there he was fighting Hamilton for P2 on lap 1.
And they don't look like they're struggling on pace either, which they did last year, obviously.
Yeah.
They looked really strong. How do you think Carlos's first race went? Because
I thought it went better than it did, than I thought it was going to go.
What about the McLaren boys? How did Carlos's first race go?
He saw them in
Carlos?
the distance, didn't he?
Yeah.
Well, you know,
They
can't
were
hear
up
him from
ahead
that far down, I'm afraid.
about a kilometre ahead of him on the main straight,
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
It was quite sad, I think, because he didn't look that enthusiastic in the paddock afterwards. They were interviewing him, and he just seemed a bit meh,
Yeah.
to be honest, which I can understand because it's a difficult start when you've got a car that isn't that drivable. I think he
Yeah.
was just about getting on top of it. We saw in testing he was struggling with it as well.
But I do
You
think
could tell.
Ferrari have made an improvement. They are, I'd
Yeah,
say, they're the
definitely.
fourth fastest car now behind McLaren. I mean, we've only just had one race.
Yeah,
The running order could completely change at Imola, but
McLarens don't run well at Bahrain historically.
No,
So.
they don't.
And
no.
all
So
the
that
testing's
is,
been at one track, so there's
yeah.
a lot more to come from all the teams.
Yeah.
'Cause
Definitely.
Yeah, it's
We'll
a powered
soon
track.
see.
So if you've got a draggy car or an underpowered car, you're going to struggle.
Yeah.
But saying
so-
that, Lando looked very comfortable all weekend in
Yeah.
that car.
Was quietly confident the whole
Yeah.
way. He just went unseen for most of it, but we knew he was there in fourth place. It was really, really, really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, good strong start from McLaren.
Mm.
So it only ways
And you're a little
Definitely.
bit excited when you nearly
Third
got
already.
P3.
Williams.
Improved
They
on
were there,
last
were they?
year. Still slow.
I wouldn't say they're the worst team anymore.
No, definitely not. So
No.
that's an improvement for Williams.
Yeah.
Russell was nearly P10, but he was on alternate strat. So
Yeah.
kind of didn't get there in the end. Was he P13 or P14?
I can't
14.
remember.
It's a
14.
P14.
Yeah.
decent result, actually.
Not
Considering.
bad.
Yeah.
And he made Q2 as well, so he's hopefully going to start getting used to that again.
Out qualified Vettel.
Yeah,
know.
he did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very strong.
Ah, better.
Oh, Vettel. Poor
Said
Vettel.
Vettel is spinning
Spinning
into
around.
Ocon.
Look, let's be fair to Vettel. Right, for anyone who missed qualifying, Mazepin did a naughty thing and didn't do the gentleman rule of stay in your line, make space. He decided to overtake everyone and then lose it as he went round the corner, which caused a yellow flag, and apparently Vettel didn't adhere to those yellow flag rules and he got sent to the back of the class. Get back.
What's funny about that is he was 18th anyway, even
Yeah.
though he ignored the flags.
Yeah.
They may as well have taken a new engine, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Like a double
They're already
slap.
Yeah. They might as well have just done that, like took a new engine and got on with it.
Why not?
But I really enjoyed Vettel before his pit stop, the overtakes that he did. He was fighting with Alonso, which
I
is-
know
Yeah.
that it
That
felt
was a good battle.
nostalgic.
Yeah,
So good.
it felt amazing. And Alonso doesn't really like Vettel, but you can see that there's respect for each other
Yeah.
on track, which
Yeah.
is really, really nice to see. Stroll did quite well as well. Was he P7 in the end?
Yeah, Stroll's impressive.
10th.
Got some points on
Was
the
he
board
10th?
for
He was
Aston.
10th,
so
wasn't
they'll
he?
be pleased about
Was
that.
he 10th?
He was
Yeah,
10th.
Stroll was 10th. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
shit.
because
Oh, yeah, he
Ricardo
started
was
7th,
7th.
wasn't he?
Oh, that's what it is. He started
He
7th.
started 7th, yeah.
But that's strong
Okay,
qualifying.
cut that out.
Cut that out.
I don't
Stroll was
think
impressive. Stroll was really impressive, to be fair to him. I think he did a good job to start off with an Aston Martin that isn't great on race pace.
Mm.
That it showed in testing again that it just wasn't really on it
It
on long runs. So
It looks like they've taken a bit of a step down this year.
Yeah, well, there's only so
It's a
far
high
you can
rake.
go with a copied version of a car. You know, they probably had to put some of their own input into this year, and that might have gone off. But they're not trying for this year. They're not.
No,
They're not.
they're trying for future years,
Yeah.
so
This is just a little play. You know, just a bit of playtime for them.
just embedding the team culture, I think, just
Yeah.
getting organised, so they know what they're doing
yeah.
next year.
I think 2022 they'll come back strong. We don't know who's going to be on top in 2022.
No.
It
There's-
might not be Merc.
No, I mean,
knows?
there's got to be a reason why Aston Martin are in F1. I've said that from the moment they were announced. They know that they can be strong with these new regs. 100%. That's why they're there right
They've
now.
got something planned, haven't they?
Yeah.
They got something planned. The thing is, Newey worked with Aston Martin on the Valkyrie. and the
Yeah,
Vulcan, I
yeah,
think. So
yeah,
they might
yeah.
still have some knowledge from when he was there working on those cars and the philosophy of using Venturi tunnels. So I reckon they've learned something from him being there.
Moving over to Alpine. Sorry.
Yeah.
Alpine.
You
Or
lot all
Alonso.
thought you
Are
lot
you?
thought I was crazy when I said Alpine. You're all like, no, it's Alpine.
Yeah.
It's Alpine.
No,
it's Alpine.
I thought it was Alpine.
It is Alpine.
It's Alpine.
It's
Hit me in the
Alpine.
corner. It's
Alpine.
Alpine. Where's me pipe?
It's
Alpine.
Alpine.
Well, did you all hear why Alonso
Sandwich bag.
break? Thanks.
A sandwich bag.
Right, here's my theory. You know how Kimmy's just, driving around having fun? Maybe he had a sandwich. Maybe that
He
wrapper
might
flew
have done,
off.
actually. At one point, Raikkonen was ahead of Alonso. That makes sense, actually. Yeah.
Dum dum dum.
Conspiracy. He took his lunch on board with him.
I think it was Palmer threw it out the comms window.
Oh, yeah.
Then shouted Karma.
I think Ericsson hit us with a sandwich bag.
It was Ericsson. They didn't score any points this weekend. But some good overtakes with Alonso, as I said earlier. It was probably just them embedding themselves in this week. Red Bull.
Meh. Average.
So close and yet so far.
They fucked it, didn't they? Let's be honest.
Well, Perez had issues that Honda had told Red Bull about. So they changed the control electronics before the race, and then on the formation lap, it cut out.
Yeah.
I thought
That's awkward.
It just stopped.
Yeah, I thought he was parked up and that was it.
Very surprised he kept going.
Yeah, and
he started taking the wheel off.
Yeah, he did.
He was ready to get out. He started taking the wheel off. He thought, no, wait. He must have been told, try this mode, and they got it back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is very good, very impressive. That meant he started from the pit lane. But
He almost did a Kvyat on his debut for Red Bull, because Kvyat had this, didn't make it to the start of his first race for Red Bull in Australia 2015. His car died, so Perez almost did the same thing, but thankfully not.
But he was definitely driver of the day.
In my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with that one.
No doubt about that.
Yeah, absolutely incredible. I can only see good things coming from Perez.
I know. I reckon we haven't seen the best of Perez yet.
Yeah.
No, definitely not.
And that was pretty impressive.
Imagine if he shows up Max.
Oh, yeah, that would be good.
Well, I don't think
he shows Max as being average.
Do you know what? They definitely make that Red Bull for Max. But I said this earlier on. Perez is very versatile, and I think he'll adapt to whatever you put in front of him. That's something...
Well, he's basically been in the midfield for 10 years, so now he's actually got a car he can drive with, and if it's not as good as it should be, well, at least he can adapt to it because he's been adapting.
Yeah, definitely. Max,
very impressed with him.
Had a brilliant race, came so close in the end.
How good was it to see Max versus Lewis for P1? An actual battle.
Without the need for a safety car either. Absolutely fantastic. Yeah.
That was good.
Let's get controversial.
Let's get controversial.
That's got to be a segment.
Yes!
And James going, let's get controversial. Or something, whatever it was.
So, was it turn 4 that Lewis was told off for going right off track? Halfway through the race, he got told off. He got told he'd get a black and white flag and then he'd get a 5-second penalty. And then the overtake came from Max, where he did go off at turn 4, so he was correct to hand the place back. But what people are saying is that the stewards weren't consistent with their track limits.
If you read the race director's notes, it said it wouldn't be enforced in the race.
But it
only
was
in
when
qualifying.
Yeah, but it
And then
was
Red
enforced
Bull,
when
but then
Hamilton.
Red Bull complained about it, so they started looking at it and realised what he was doing and put a stop to it. So it was only once Red Bull complained that the FIA realised what he was doing every lap.
Oh. So basically,
and put a stop to it.
Yeah, Red Bull kicked themselves in the nuts.
Yeah, Karen Horner.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, he did it 29 times in 56 laps, I think, before Red
Yeah.
Bull went, no, that's it, that's enough.
Yeah.
And yeah, it would have been hypocritical of them if they had said stop corner cutting, stop track extending, and then let Verstappen go ahead and overtake him while off track as well.
Yeah.
But they need to be more consistent with the track limits, because it's
be
annoying for the
simple.
fans, because we don't know what the real rule is, and apparently nor do the drivers. Hamilton's going, I've been going out there this whole race. What do you mean? What's the problem?
Yeah.
But they are set in stone, the rules, and they will be given a track guide which shows them where the limits are. And it is sort of like, well, look, you put 2 wheels off, be careful. If 4 wheels are all off the track, you've gone over the limit. That's kind of a rule that anyone taking part in any racing on any track knows that you can't do that. So it's cheeky of Lewis. It was because he knew what he was doing, but I understand that he was like, well, now they're pulling me up on it. If Max had have kept that place and took the penalty, I don't think he'd have got 5 seconds up the road. I don't think Red Bull were that much quicker.
No, but Max thought he was.
Think he would. Then that also could have been a 10 second, because you've ignored the race director's orders.
Yeah.
I was watching something earlier on it from Sky, and Anthony Davidson basically said if he had have ignored it, he would have got 10 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is what a younger Verstappen would have done a couple of seasons ago. He would have just fucked off up the road and taken the penalty.
Yeah. And
it's a good point, actually.
Yeah. It's good to see growth from him.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Remember, he's only 23 as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Madness in it.
Forget how young these guys still are, even though they seem to be getting older. Because they start so young now.
Years.
Yeah, Carlos Sainz is my age, and yet he's one of the old guys now.
Yeah.
Does it all, really, doesn't it?
Wow. But it was good to see that Red Bull have some pace about them, and to see that they seem to have a car that's good at the beginning rather than the end.
They had a good pre-season for once.
Yeah. Very unusual.
Normally it's up and down, but they hit the ground running.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what we really need for Formula One.
Moving on to Mercedes. Good day at the office, considering they didn't look like they had it hooked up for Bahrain.
Fair play to them. They need to up their game.
They should be worried about Red Bull. Because I could see the speed that Red Bull were gaining on them in the corners. So at tracks that aren't power dominant, Red Bull will win quite easily, I think, as long as they didn't break down. So yeah, back to Mercedes, they had a solid race, I guess.
Even though their pit stop was bad for Valtteri again, so they need to improve that.
I think they were just using him as a pawn. Yeah. Like, they really were. They were going to change strategies, and then all of a sudden they went, oh no, pit. Like, go long, Bottas, but pit next lap. You know, I want to see them all fighting. I understand his role within the team is driver too, and he understands that as well. I get that. But it's boring watching.
On that point, if he was quicker and up there fighting them, say if they'd have launched it down the inside of Lewis at turn 1,
they'd have been, they'd have been out. Yeah,
it would have been a different story. But he's just not. I don't want to say he's not quick enough because he's in the Mercedes, but
he's not Rosberg.
Something missing. Yeah, he's not Rosberg.
Yeah, there's something missing. There's something. Yeah. He's perfect for what Mercedes want, but there's something. Yeah, there's something missing.
I think Turkey is the perfect example last year.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Hamilton, what he done on them tyres and what Bottas done on the same tyres.
Just
it says it all, doesn't it?
And I mean, amazing race for Lewis, because he had old tyres on, 10 laps older tyres than Verstappen, and he was managing to defend.
It was like Bahrain 2014 all over again.
It was a really good drive from Lewis, and I do think that he deserved that win. I mean,
Yeah, he did.
It doesn't always come down to
that
deserve, but I mean, it was a brilliant performance from him.
Definitely.
Absolutely
Very
amazing.
worthy winner.
Yeah.
Had to fight hard for that. Deserved it.
That was a try-hard moment.
He Kieran'd it.
I still haven't done my
Right.
Yuki Tsunoda.
We're going to talk about Yuki Tsunoda now, just in case you didn't realise from what James just did. Yuki Tsunoda would have been a contender for Driver of the Day. First race, first points.
First Japanese driver to score on his debut.
Yep. And he joined Stoffel and a couple of others, getting his first points. He did all right, didn't he? He was pretty nippy in that AlphaTauri.
He really was.
He's a big talent.
Decent looking car.
Yeah.
He's looking. I reckon he will
White
see some
rims.
surprises.
Very
Oh,
pretty.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about it.
AlphaTauri know how to style a car.
Yeah, they do.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they looked quicker in quali than they did on the race.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I know Gasly had the issue at the beginning of the race. Oh, he hit.
Yeah, he
someone.
hit Ricardo.
Yeah, Gasly
Yeah.
hit Ricardo, and he was pretty much at the back of the Grand Prix for most of it. Unfortunately, but Yuki was just amazing. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna see
Very solid opener from him. Yeah.
9th place. Well, every F1 race weekend, us lot will be predicting our top 3, or sometimes we might mix it up. We are going to do different predictions throughout the season, but on Saturday I messaged these and said your top 3 predictions for the Bahrain Grand Prix. Before we go on, I have to explain to you all that at the end of the season, the person with the least correct predictions has to do a forfeit, Buckland.
What?
So we'll start top left, which was me. I thought Bottas was going to win, Perez was going to come second, and Max was going to come third. I got it completely wrong. Buckland thought Max was going to win, Lewis was going to come second, and Norris was going to come third. And got it completely
I
wrong.
was only one place off with everyone.
Well, you're
Fair
closer
play.
than me. Closer than me. James had Lewis P1, Valtteri P2, and Max P3. Not
I
bad.
got all 3 on the podium, right?
Yeah,
And
you
I
did.
got the winning driver, right? So I should get a point.
Yeah. And Kieran got predicted Lewis P1, Max P2, and Sergio Perez P3.
So I got
Top 2 right.
I got all 3 drivers right, and I got the top 1 right.
Well, you technically got 1 right.
But Kieran got the top 2.
Yeah,
yeah,
Kieran
but I got
the
all
top
3
2.
drivers on. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
right.
but
Yeah.
they were the
fair.
wrong
Yeah, but
drivers.
I got all. Yeah, but I did get all 3 drivers. To be fair.
Yeah, but they weren't in the right order.
I love how he's trying to spin this. I love it.
So, technically, the winner is Kieran. Well
Yes.
done.
Okay.
Well done.
Tryhard wins again.
Yeah.
Get in there, Lewis.
And I can say that I lost this quite badly.
Yeah.
Can I get
Little
half
bit.
a point for getting all the 3 drivers on the podium right?
You could get second place.
How's that
Fair
feel?
enough.
Yeah. Third came
It's all right.
Buckland.
I'm used to coming second.
Buckland's drinking,
And-
so we'll have to wait for him.
Sponsored by JD.
Swallow.
Sponsored by JD.
Swallow.
And last but not least, we're talking about MotoGP.
There was a pretty awesome start, though, from the Ducatis, wasn't there?
Well, it was like a Ducati 1, 2, 3, 4.
Mm.
So, one
Yeah.
of the guys on his first ever Grand Prix, I think he started 14th, and by the end of the first corner, he was already up into 4th place.
Yeah.
Whoa.
That was, I
It's-
saw that. It was amazing. He just
Jorge,
walked.
Yeah, that's good.
Jorge
That was a good start.
Martin
Yeah.
on his first ever Grand Prix, he got into turn 1 in P4, and it was a Ducati 1, 2, 3, 4, and I just thought this is going to be a Ducati fest. And then, oh my goodness me, it all kicked off. The top 15 were all separated by less than 10 seconds at one point,
Yeah.
cut with a few laps to go.
Wow.
So, very exciting. Just to explain where they were first, they were at Qatar, so in the same area as Bahrain.
Mm-hmm.
So, both of the biggest world championships in motorsport were in the Middle East this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
We're at Qatar for MotoGP. Obviously, I've just explained about Jorge Martin on his first Grand Prix, making up 10 places into Turn 1. Pecco Bagnaia started on pole. This is his third season. It was his first ever pole position, and he was going for his first ever win. It was his first race for Ducati, so there's a lot of firsts.
Yeah.
And he led away from Johan Zarco, who's been in MotoGP since 2017, and he's not won a race yet, so he was desperate. Jack Miller, who hasn't won a race since 2016.
Wow.
And yeah, well, yeah, so he's finally got a chance with a big team.
Mm.
And Jorge Martin on his first Grand Prix was up into P4. The Yamahas fell back of Vinales, Quartararo, and Rossi on his first Grand Prix for Petronas. Basically, it just looked. I just thought, wow, it's going to be a battle between the 4 Ducatis. But then the Yamahas just slowly started picking their way in.
Yeah.
I thought, I thought it was going to be Quartararo on his first Grand Prix for Yamaha that was going to challenge him. But then Vinales snuck one in and then started picking them off all by one. And then he slowly got to the front. The two Suzukis of Alex Rins and Johan Mir, the world champion, started making their way up the order and looked like Rins. I thought he was going to challenge for the win, but then Mir just suddenly started carving the way through Ducatis. I know.
I was surprised he didn't get a podium. Really surprised.
Well, we'll come on to that because he almost came onto that. He almost got a podium. But it's also, while we're on talk about Mir, it was only his second season last year in MotoGP, and he won the championship. And he only ever won one race, and that was the race before he won the World Championship.
Oh my god!
So, I know. So he basically led the championship all the way through last year without ever winning a race until the penultimate race.
See, I'm a little bit behind with MotoGP because I stopped watching it when it came off BBC.
Yeah,
I
did too.
It was like when I watched the race, it was like a big catch up for me.
Yeah. Like, where's Marquez and Pedrosa?
Yeah.
Oh, Marquez got an injury, and Pedrosa retired in 2018.
Yeah, he did.
That's how long it's been since I watched it last.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was sad to see the doctor kind of struggling. He just struck, especially towards the end.
Yeah. To be honest, as much as I like him, he hasn't been on form since really 2015, since Marquez and Lorenzo did their thing and cost him his title. Anyway,
the last time I watched it was when he joined Ducati.
Oh my god, that is like 2011 when he joined Ducati.
Wow.
So you haven't watched it in really 10 years.
Yeah.
Because he had 2 years at Ducati, didn't win a race, and then came back to Yamaha and won a race straight away.
Yeah.
But then that's when Marc Marquez started coming in and being Marquez, which he's actually my favourite rider, Marquez. Not going to be popular with that one. So so the Suzukis were coming back up, and then suddenly Mir overtook Rins and showing him why he is the world champion, despite the fact he's got less victories than Rins.
Wow.
And then then Vinales, I think, took the lead and basically just held on to it, despite the straight line speed of the Ducatis, which was mental on that back straight.
The Ducatis seemed to kind of lose a bit of pace towards the end, though, because they all just went backwards.
They all did.
Yeah, it was really like such a strong start, and then just
it couldn't got stronger.
Like they lost pace. I don't know if the tyres were an issue. They were having to save the engine. I don't know.
I think it might have been tyres. Who's looks after their tyres the best?
Yeah.
So a bit similar to Formula One in that regard. And so that was pretty exciting. And Vinales, I think he gets a lot of stick. Vinales, he usually gets absolutely horrible starts from a good position, and he never really crawls them back. Well, he had. Well, it wasn't the best start, but it wasn't a bad one where he dropped back to the grid. But he managed to stay in touch and managed to pick them off one by one.
Yeah.
He took the lead and dominated it as soon as he
he
got
did.
it.
Didn't lose
And then
it.
and then Mia got through on the penultimate corner of the race on the two Ducatis, only to go wide at the final corner and then the back straight.
Oh, that was awful. That he
Such an
literally was just
finish.
Yeah.
okay,
The sitting duck.
Okay.
It was like coming to the line. Both Zarco and Pecco Bagnaia just literally got into the line, so it was so amazing.
At Baku, really. That's what it looked like, just losing it right on the final run to the finish.
Yeah, overall, that was... I know you guys probably would have said that F1 was the best season opener, but for me, MotoGP was, because that was absolutely brilliant.
I agree with you, James. MotoGP race. I only watch the highlights because I can't watch it live, but every bit
I think I'm the only one that can watch it live.
Yeah. I agree with you on that, James. I think the MotoGP from start to finish was exciting to watch, and they're all so close as well. Definitely.
Yeah.
A really good race. I think it was more interesting than F1.
I mean, don't get me wrong, the F1 ending was amazing. Yeah. It really was.
Yeah.
And that's why it would have been up there if that MotoGP race hadn't been exciting.
Yeah.
But MotoGP's not always that exciting sometimes, especially when Marquez will be back. He'll be dominating if he's the same rider from his injury. Yeah. But when he's not there, even though Marquez is my favourite rider and I really hope he comes back soon, that race from a neutral's point of view, oh my gosh, I don't know who I wanted to win. I just wanted to see them just race. And it was exciting, and it's I really wish MotoGP had as much coverage in this country as F1 did. Mainstream media. I was out today, and the car radio kept going on about F1, and I thought that was pretty cool that they talk about F1.
Mm.
But I really wish they had mentioned MotoGP as well. But there we go.
What I like about what we're doing is, obviously I'm Formula Hun, and my favourite is Formula 1 and has been since I was little. But I like that we cover other motorsports. And yes, it might be the most popular, but it's something where you come and watch us and you're getting something different each time. We're all into different motorsports as well, and we can all give more to each different sport because we're more into it.
Like when it's Formula E, I think Naomi's mainly been the host of this video, but when Formula E comes to Rome, I think it will mainly be me talking.
Yeah, we'll just sat here like that.
Yeah.
So it was an exciting first week for us to start our little adventure on 3 Men, 1 Hun. That's not what it sounds like.
That's not what it sounds like.
No,
I promise.
Not at all. But next week we've got brand new Extreme E, brand new series for us to cover.
Jenson Button versus Sebastian Loeb. What, against some of the best female drivers in the world, like Jamie Chadwick.
Exactly.
That's another thing about Extreme E that we all notice, that each car has one male driver and one female driver. Talk about gender equality. This is the way forward.
Yeah, absolutely. Really looking forward to it. And we're off to MotoGP as well. So that's what to expect from us next week. Everyone, thank you so much for watching. We hope you've enjoyed this as much as we've enjoyed making it. Please don't forget to subscribe and like. And we'll be here next Tuesday having a good rant about what's happened in the week's motorsport.
Thank you all so much for watching. It's really appreciated. And goodbye from me.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.